more minutes, 16, 15, okay. Changing number. Well, Vasilis is dancing. That will be probably Vasilis' golden ratio 2, the second part of the project, where we'll start teaching and dancing while we teach.
And golden ratio 3, start teaching, dancing and singing.
Singing is already in the golden ratio 1.
Okay, hi.
Hello, Elsa.
Hi.
Hi, Elsa. Hi, Jose.
Essa não fiz.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Huh?
Guarda, io ho detto che forse dovremmo chiedere al cervello, non so, perché l'ultima volta che nato, diciamo, cambiare
Vabbè, effettivamente se tu puoi del genere, magari la facciamo poi una canzonina del camucchio. Si va entrare anche dalla chiave, giù e
c'era il problema della
una ricetta.
ma quando c'è stato il non sapete mai mandare la Olá, Vitor, estás aonde hoje?
Estou em casa.
Não?
Estou em Guimarães, pá.
Em Guimarães, muito bem.
É bonito, olha, estás a ver, ó.
Estou a ver.
Então, e a Patrícia? Onde é que está a Patrícia? Estás em casa?
Eu estou em casa, eu estou sempre no mesmo.
Ah.
Mas eu vou aprender contigo, vou começar a ter assim um pano de fundo mais engraçado.
I like very much to travel. That's why I have always a different picture in my back. Because with COVID, we cannot travel. So I changed the picture.
Yes, imagine we could have been in Greece now.
Oh, in Greece maybe it's better than in Portugal. Here is rainy.
Here I can't speak for Greece because I am in Bansko in Bulgaria. Now it's okay, but the day before it was snowing and it was a bit coldy.
So if you are in Bansko, you must go to ski. It was my first time in my life that I did ski in Bulgaria, in Bansko.
Do you think?
Yeah, I did it very well because I could not stop, so I had to stop with my head on the snow.
Good.
But here I see snow
Snow?
in my TV.
Not in.
We can
not
see
yet.
snow through our windows. Zori sends a very special message saying warm greetings, and she cannot join properly, which means she's still here. I can see her. You can see her if we beg her to come. She's very beautiful. You can, you will see her, but she's listening, and she gave me the permission to say good afternoon.
Super.
Welcome back to Golden Ratio teaching seminar. and give the floor to Svetla, which is a very nice floor. And I leave you in a very, very charming company.
Actually,
and Elsa.
I need to be the host. Sorry.
Okay, so Elsa
So
will be
I'll be Svetla, Alina, and Elsa at the same time.
Okay.
And, you know, we will have a dialogue with you.
Okay.
So the three of us, three, and you all. Okay, so everybody here. So we are very happy to meet you again. So we will start with some short feedback on what we got from you. Okay,
did you receive our two
yes,
things?
Yes, and we have found them fantastic because they are original, and yeah, we'll talk about them later. They are on the PowerPoint presentation. Don't worry about this.
Okay.
Both of them. Okay, and thank you for them. Thank you very much. So I can share the screen, right? Yes, I can. Right. Okay. Can you see it?
Not yet. Yes.
Not yet. I can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it will be full screen in a moment. Doesn't want to? Oh, yes. Okay. You know, sometimes computers have a mind of their own. And it's quite difficult to tame them. Okay. So draw your mind. What we got from you. You know, we got lots of interesting input and feedback. So we got physical minding maps, you know. So when it comes to, you know, mind mapping, there is no right or wrong as long as they are complete and cover, you know, the topics, the details. So for me, this is, you know, it's similar to what I would do. It's very, very clear to me, very clear. You know, the topic and then the other details are displayed radially around the topic India. Okay. So this is similar. It is a little bit more colorful. So everything depends on the personality and the way the person learns and wants to retain certain, you know, details.
And Elsa, sorry for interrupting. I think in this case, we see, I think we have the color code. I guess so. I'm not sure. We have the color code of the different levels of information, which is also a way to get a better orientation within the mind map itself. Like green, green is the first level, then the rosa, lila is the second layer. So and then it grows. I guess this is the meaning of colors in this case.
Yeah, probably. But we can, you know, we can ask the creator, can we? So what do you think? And this is quite similar.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite similar. And probably, you know, the details on the map are in connection to the curriculum, because, you know, the textbooks have a lot of details, but you know, during at the exams, students are required only certain things to work on. Yeah. Okay. But very good point with colors.
As it is in a Bulgarian, and it's easy for me to.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this is in Romanian. So it's also a sort of mind map. Probably it's for the teacher, you know, made by the teacher for his or her students. and only certain details. Oh no, they are all the details, the main features, the main features. Yeah, position, neighbors, neighboring countries, geographical details, features, climate, towns, and rivers. Okay, and then probably, you know, in time they will go in depth and learn about the other, you know, things. Okay, so this is also in Romanian. This is also in Romanian, so it's radial. And this one also includes the geological features, the plates. Yeah, that's what I see. Okay. Right, this is kind of, you know, more complete and, you know, differs from the other ones because it has some oddities, you know, so it appeals to the curiosity of students. You know, these things can be used at the beginning to introduce the topic, to stir students' interest. Yeah. Okay, so there are lots of very interesting things here. It's about the pole of rains.
Sì. Yes.
Kerapunji. My Indian is not so good. Yeah, and the Ganges and the Brahmaputra flow, you know, form a common delta, which is the biggest, the largest in the world. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay, right.
And sorry, Elsa.
Yes.
And it's made with MindMaster. I can see there.
Yeah,
the digital tool.
So it's a digital map, right? It's a digital map. Okay, so let's move on to something else. So probably this mind map is adapted to, you know, to the students of the teacher. She or he knows that her students or his students would be interested in this, you know, oddities, and that's why they have included it in this map. Okay. So this is also digital. It's also colorful. And it covers, you know, lots of details, the most important things. Yeah, I think this map focuses on the significant details. And there are also some, you know, some codes here, you know, the Himalayas and cold winds. It means that the mountains push cold winds and probably creates a microclimate around them. So very interesting. And the desert attracts winds. So we can use codes, you know, with digital maps as well. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Another one. This is, you know, in one color, but the same, you know, symbols here, the same codes. Okay, yeah, looks quite interesting. Personally, I would go for a simple one and concentrate on the details. And what else? Would you add anything to such maps to make it more personal, to help you with learning? Or physical or digital? Probably some icons. Svetla told me about using some icons to personalize it.
Once, for instance, it's my way. It's not, of course, obligatory everyone's way. But for instance, when I do a mind map, I always try to add some icons, using not only words, but really drawing something very simple, like, I don't know, if it's about time, to draw a clock or something. So for me personally, it's much easier than to grasp the content only by seeing the images. So this might be also a task for the students, for, let's say, invent for each main category, invent a small symbol and draw it. Because it really, the image helps one usually grasp the content.
Yeah, and triggers,
Yeah.
you know, some
Otherwise,
information.
We have a really nice structured content, but then again, it's the emphasis is on the text. And then, but if we combine both text and visual structure, and visuals, I think that the retention it could be much higher if we use the power of images. It's just actually everything we got as a feedback, as proposals from you, from the teachers. Actually, everything covered absolutely all the ideas we had about suggesting. So I was really happy to see it on one hand. On the other, I really have nothing to add besides maybe this idea of adding symbols to mind maps.
Okay, so see, it seems that the Portuguese have something to add. See?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, it's a combination of Indian and also Portuguese story.
Yeah.
So I love that. You know, the first contacts and a lot of history here. So not only geography, but also history. And I think it's, you know, it's a good point to, when we speak of another country, to speak also about our connections to that country, to that particular country. By doing this, it will bring that country closer to our students, and it will make it more, yeah, thank you. So do you want to say anything, Victor?
Joaquim Sayal is also here, but I think he's a bit, I can explain it maybe better. If you click in the link, this is like all the lesson is here since the beginning.
No.
Until
See,
not here.
Not here, so it doesn't
if you
work.
click in the link, but you have to maybe in here you should close and open the other link.
Yeah, so we are in a Zoom.
Yeah,
and if it's a face-to-face presentation, and it will work if I click on. So I have to open it in, you know, on the internet, and then.
But I can just in a very fast way, I can explain.
Thank you, thank you.
So there is a story about the Indian and also Portuguese story. And so my colleague, what he did, he wrote a story about it that you can check in the link. I can send to all by PDF, and you can do it at home.
Oh,
so
please,
this is the learning process. And then you have a lot of questions around. And what he did, after they study and they read the text, they try to answer all these questions. And at the end, they have such like a formative evaluation in quizzes that any one of you also can try to answer. So all the lesson of the teacher is here. He just needs to take this to the classroom, and with this you can give a lesson to your students. You don't need anything else. Just
and there are lots of WH questions appealing to students' critical thinking and probably creativity. So they have to do research. They have to do some research in order to answer all these questions. Yeah, so excellent. So mind mapping using as a tool for informative assessment.
I'm sorry, Elsa, we have a raised hand. Ivana, probably she has a question.
Yeah, I can't see.
Yeah, thank you. It's just a little bit of a comment. I think that this is a very good example of how you can mix the different tools. Actually, because I think that obviously here we have the mind map and how we can visualize the key points in the lesson. But then what Victor explained, at least my understanding of it, is that then you can take this and go to a future classroom.
Yeah.
So this is basically mixing the two tools, and in a very, how should I say, fluid way that provides even more opportunities for the teachers, obviously, to see how that can be done. So thank you.
Yeah, and you know, the idea is also interesting, connecting to countries and connection. And this, you know, this activity helps students to make connections. And
the story, and you should read, I will send you by PDF.
Yeah,
because
please.
You should read the story that my colleague Joaquim Sayal did, because it's not telling about how good were the Portuguese during the discovery times, but the things that the problems that we got in the 20th century because of that. So it's an interesting story. It's not just the story, let's say.
Yeah, yeah. So helping students to learn their history.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, probably finding solutions, helping them to find solutions, you know.
I think I just sent the story in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and the other slide. So this is, as I figure it, you know, as I imagine it, I don't know. It's a teacher's preparation for the class as a mind map. What actions a teacher should take in order to organize the class. You know,
yeah,
different
this was made by Patricia.
Yeah,
Patricia.
excellent. Yeah. Another idea. So another idea that's excellent. Very, very, very creative. So taking mind mapping to lots of other levels. Okay, thank you very much. And we also had some comments, steps, you know, for a class. Starting, you know, traditionally with a map of the world, you know, and then creating a cloud, which can also be like a sort of digital map where students can incorporate everything they learned and they share it together. Okay. And this is another, you know, structure of a lesson with a warming up activity, raising students' interest by presenting them a traditional Indian dance, you know, introducing the topic. And then the teacher creates a mind map and helps students to create a mind map. And while, you know, moving through the lesson, students are asked to complete the mind map. Okay, so very, very interesting ideas. And the task, the homework students have to do is also very creative. So combines art, you know, with the lesson, asking students to create a drawing related to India, to draw a landmark, a traditional dress, anything that that has impressed them. Okay, very interesting things. See, when it comes to, you know, to a teacher's imagination, there are no limits. And we can, you know, it's in our power to renew old methods, because mind mapping, you know, is quite old. But I think that, you know, its contributions to our teaching. There is, I mean, there are a lot of things to say in this respect when it comes to mind mapping. So creativity and critical thinking. So it's quite great. Okay, so we are quite. I mean, we are not quite. We are pleased with what we have got from you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah. So anything you would like to add, or
maybe an idea we missed to present, or a question which is left behind?
Okay. So I would download the Portuguese story.
I put it there already.
Yes, but I'll have to download it.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And
Yeah,
Joaquin Sayal is writing.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking of the Portuguese story and curiosity. So it's very, very important, I think. So this is my idea. It's very important for teachers to maintain, to keep that curiosity in our students. As long as they are curious, you know, we can make them eat from our palm. So we can monitor them, we can, you know, so, but sometimes I know it's difficult, but. Okay, nothing else. If not, okay, so where is Ina? Ina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm here. We have just started. I hope we don't need any minutes. Yes, Vasily says very interesting way to learn. And now I will start sharing my screen, and we will continue with our next tool and with something else. So am I allowed to share? Yes. Okay. Second. This is not my computer, because I just wanted to make sure that this time we will you'll get a proper connection and a proper. Okay, start from the beginning. Can you see?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I will start with something we started even before the start of the meeting. We started with the question, what are we supposed to do now? And maybe I thought we need to go back to the very first day, because we're in the middle of our training, and see why we were doing, why are we here, and why are we doing what we're doing. And I'll start, usually when I don't know what to say, I always start with a quote. And this time is the quote by Sir Ken Robinson, who is one of my greatest teachers. He doesn't know that, but he is. And it says, teaching is an art. Yes, I know. But
so he knows, maybe he knows.
Yeah, maybe now he knows, because years ago when I started following and reading all his books, he didn't know. And he was one of the inspiration of Golden Ratio Teaching Project. And another great teacher of mine and great inspiration. And by the way, most of the things that I use in my work are inspired by Professor Dr. Georgi Luzanov. He's a Bulgarian scientist who created the, it's not science, it's method, and it's magic of Suggestopedia. And he always emphasizes on teachers being able to master the communication in the spirit of love, respect for men as a human being, and specific humanitarianism in whatever they teach. And the last inspiration that I got was really last night when I was finishing my presentation. And Pantone every year suggests some new color. This time the color they suggested is this one, the blue one, bluish violet something. But what impressed me is he said that this color provokes courageous creativity and imaginative expression. And I think this is something that the world today needs: courageous creativity and imaginative expression. If we apply this in our life and in our classrooms, I think we'll be really wow for our loved ones and for our students. But now I will go back to Sir Ken Robinson. And by the way, these masterpieces that you see framed in beautiful frames are some drawings, if I may call them like this, inspired by Svetla's classes. And it took me, I think, less than 3 minutes to think about what am I going to visualize, to draw it, to take a picture of these drawings with my telephone and upload them in the presentation. Just an idea. I mean, we don't always need some very technically perfect laptop or iPad. So what do we need if we speak about education? What is this ingredient that we cannot go without? Schools? Not necessarily, because we notice that we don't need buildings anymore. Probably at some point we will not need teachers or even computers, I don't know. But what we do need in this process is a student who studies. And in my opinion, a student who studies is a motivated or inspired student. And in order for students to be inspired, we need a motivated teacher. And that's how we sat down and we started thinking, how can we motivate? How can we inspire? How can we give confidence to teachers? So in our case, we won't present anything new or very exciting, although we usually, I mean, I myself, I usually present something very exciting, and I present some magic and magical way of storytelling, but we'll talk about this later. So what we need is a motivated teacher. And that's how we created the golden ratio teaching. We thought that we will prepare a guidebook, and this guidebook could be opened by any teacher at any moment, and any teacher can find something there with which he or she can teach in a new way. So we were aiming at providing inspiration, creativity, and confidence in teachers. And inspiration, okay, we spoke about inspiration, we spoke about creativity, but what we need is also the confidence. And usually a person who is confident is the person who is very well equipped. And you're very well equipped when you have the right tools. So we prepared sort of a toolbox for teachers, and whenever they need to teach something which is not very exciting, at least for their students, they might open this toolbox and choose one of the tools. And the tools are, very first day of the seminar, you heard Antonio's and Vitor's very informative and inspiring and provoking thought and desire to create and learn presentations in the Flip the Future. We also had Draw Your Mind with Svetla, and this is just, I will open some brackets here and say that a few days ago I met a colleague of ours who attended 6 years ago, and I remember this, 6 years ago, attended one of Svetla's workshops in Plovdiv. He teaches Italian, and he also teaches anthropology to children in kindergarten, teenagers, and also adults. And what this person said is that 6 years later, he's inspired, he was so inspired, and he got so much tools for his teaching that he still teaches with the help of Svetla's ideas. So Svetla, thank you very much from Krum. Yes, and we will next week, we will do the music in the air. Sorry? Cannot hear you very well.
Oh, I think no, it's the microphone open, just that, not talking to us.
Okay, okay. And now we will talk about stories to remember. And if we start with stories to remember, I will again start with a quote because I don't know what to say at the very beginning, so I need to say something very smart. And the very smart thing that I wrote here is a quote by Stanislav Lem, and he says, "In order to learn something, you need to know something beforehand." And here comes one of my very favorite articles that I read, and we will share it with you in your in the chat probably. And it is about priming. And priming is a psychological term, and you can read in the article the details, but it is about the following. Psychologists believe that if we have a unit of information and they're stored in our long-term memory, and the way, by the way, to store this in the long-term memory is to, if we have a unit of information, if we use emotion, laughter, or curiosity, or anything out of the ordinary and interesting, it does help this information to be stored in the long-term memory. And once it is stored in the long-term memory, we need to make it available for reference or to be able to retrieve it at any time. So the more you teach with the help of priming, the easier it is to retrieve that information and to enhance the memory of the specific unit that we need to teach. And I will give you just a very simple example. If you want to teach or if you want to give the word banana to your students, if you start talking about something yellow, then the word banana will be easier for the word banana to slip into the memory and stay there, and also be easy to retrieve. But I will leave you with the article, which inspired me very much and explained to a very very much what I usually do in my teaching. So in this tool, in this group of instruments, we called Stories to Remember. We have historical figures in the classroom. We have role play in the classrooms, famous paintings in the classroom, and storytelling in the classroom, which is my personal passion. And usually when I try to teach anything, I have like something magical, and I use some magic, and I start telling a story about the storytelling, and at the end everybody is very inspired. But I just want this time to make it to find a different approach to you, and just give you the step-by-step approach of what, in my opinion, could be done based on many trainings and readings that I did, and how to apply storytelling in the classroom, how I apply it, and how my colleagues in Bulgaria who teach mathematics, like let's say, or geometry, or languages, of course, they use this approach. So storytelling in the classroom. We'll first start with something which is important, and it is the lesson we're going to teach. And the lesson we're going to teach has usually a lesson plan and something very traditional. And whenever I need, or this is my suggestion, whenever you need to teach something, you have a textbook and you have a curriculum to follow. But in this curriculum, you can always identify some very important facts or information that you need to teach to your students. If it's a new material, probably it's some terminology or some important laws, or I don't know, words or phrases or phrasal verbs that you need to teach if you're a language teacher. So we have these facts, and generally what we can do with them is at the very beginning, we can use a test. And this test is, it's very good. It's always very good to have the entry level, to check the knowledge at the entry level and at the exit level. So you can measure and say, oh, they knew nothing about the cylinder, and now they can give definition, or some, I don't know, chemistry, mysterious formula. We can check the entry and the exit level. We can take the same facts and turn them into a story. I will show you how in a second. And we also can use all the drills, exercises that are provided in some of, all our textbooks, and turn them into a game. So I hope I managed to give the idea of a process. We start with the lesson plan. We pinpoint the facts. We make a test. That's not necessarily done every time, but if you want to test the knowledge and the success of your teaching, it helps. The story, which is the most important thing, and then play some games. And do you have any questions so far? Okay, no questions. I will continue. So first we have the lesson we teach. We have a normal lesson plan with an overview, subject, grade level, and objectives. And I usually, main activities, optional standards, and so on, we can pay attention to is the overview and the objectives. We also have the text in the textbook. And we take this lesson plan, we read it several times, and we pinpoint the key facts, the new terminology, the main body of knowledge we need to teach. And then we bold these elements, virtually bold them, so that you can see them very clearly. You make a list. I mean, that's what I do. I make a list because I forget a lot, so I need these lists. And then all these facts, I include them in a test. And the main purpose of this test is, yes, to check the exit and the entry level of the knowledge, but also you do this priming with this text. For example, if you need to teach, I don't know, Greek mythology, and let's say you have a god there, Zeus, who is the king of gods. And if you include something like a question, how many children did the king of Zeus, the king of gods, Zeus, have in total? I think Vasilis will help me there. There were many children by different women. Or if you imagine that he had a relationship with, Europa, let's say, and you include question, what are the names of the 3 sons of Zeus in Europe? And probably people will not know, but they will know already that Zeus and Europa had 3 sons. You don't know the names, okay, but you know already that there are 3 sons. And also we can include some funny elements. We can ask the question, where did Zeus go on a holiday to, and then multiple choice, to Hawaii, to Honolulu, or to the beach of Phoenicia? And later in the text, you'll find out that maybe there will be some reference to the beaches of Phoenicia. So that's the test. And then we have a story. We prepare the list of facts. We go back, to the list of facts we have identified. Keep it handy, ready to be included in the story. And we start writing the story. How do we write a story? I will give very shortly some idea there. It has to do with creative writing and storytelling. And we include the facts. So the facts could be, I don't know, like you make a green salad. I'm very bad at cooking, but I'll try some cooking metaphor. And you put there some leaves, but you also put nuts, let's say walnuts. And these facts, they differ from the texture of the story, which is the leaves, but they're still in the salad and we will eat them. And it will be much easier to eat the nuts with the salad than eat them separately. And you don't have to follow the logic of the lesson and the subject. We just include them randomly. Because our main aim is to present these facts in a different environment than the lesson, because the children, our students, they have the text of the lesson in their textbooks. Yes, the question, how do we write the story? I attended a seminar of how to write a screenplay, for example. And there my teacher used to say, her main question is, whatever I wrote, even before she read it, she said, who is your protagonist and what is his problem? And she claims that even with this, we can write an excellent story if we have the questions who and why. Maybe you don't need to read or to listen to me from with the other 7 points that I wrote. So character, or who is your protagonist, what is his problem? You can write an outline of the story even before starting writing the story. It is very good. She makes me write it every time because she said, it is good to organize your thoughts. And I did it once and I said, but I didn't follow this logic of the outline. She said, doesn't matter. Maybe you'll get another story, but the outline is there to organize you and to keep you focused on the topic and logical order of what's going on. Then I also always include something out of the ordinary. You know, if we have a salad, we have the leaves there, we have the nuts there, you can put, I don't know, some pomegranate seeds. They're bright and nice, and you hear something and you say, oh my God, what is she talking about? And then facts and new information and knowledge jumps into your brain because you're busy wondering, why do we have a rabbit all of a sudden, or a fox? Traditionally, in any story, we have a setting, the when and where, we have the plot, the what and how of the story. And I always include some gift. And the gift, which I mean, what do I mean here by a gift? we're teachers, it's very important for children to know chemistry, let's say, or foreign languages or whatever. But our mission as teachers is to help these children grow like good human beings. And if we include in a story about the very important chemistry lesson, we include some ideas about empathy, my favorite word, friendship, beauty, freedom, freedom of choice, anything, peace, love, anything, whatever it is, teach them, use these stories and just teach them some other lessons, the lessons of our lives. And then the last ingredient is, and it's like the olive oil we can put on any salad. It brings together all the facts and the vegetables. Emotions. Information is memorized much easier when it is colored by emotion of any kind. And I'm sorry, I didn't find that article that I read, but it was an article by NASA trainer. So he said, that's what you need to do, always include some emotion. And how do we present the story to our students? Well, I always rehearse in advance. I play, by the way, some classical music, usually Mozart. Lately, what I've been listening to constantly is a piano concerto, number 22. And while you read, and while you rehearse this story at home 2 or 3 times, if you read it with the help of classical music, any classical music that you like, and try to follow the flow of the music, it makes your voice sound different, as if you're saying something special to your students. And of course, you can play this classical music in the classroom. I've done it, and believe me, I was teaching children from minority, from very poor community, children living in poverty, and they loved Beethoven. Not the first time I played it, of course, but they start liking him and asking for that. They say, Miss, could you play that song again? So, or even in the breaks, if you play classical music, it changes the energy in the class. And I also prepare some very short narrative with which I introduce the story. So it's the priming of the priming. And in, I don't know, it could be some character from the story. It could be a rabbit, it could be a fox. I have some animals, or you can draw a picture and show them of a fox or a rabbit. And yes, this story also helps with priming the brain for the main story, the introduction to the main story. And yeah, maybe you should prepare your student that something out of the ordinary is going to happen, because the anticipation also helps the success. And then the games. In each textbook, we have exercises, and these exercises, if you turn them into, I don't know, some kind of a puzzle that they need to combine, or a treasure hunt, or there's a letter written by the grandfather provoking his grandson to do something extraordinary, solve a mystery, which could be, I don't know, some mathematical drill or some chemical formula. And their children are so easy to be engaged by just playing with them and speaking their language, which is games. And one of the ideas that I have here, and I have tried it zillion times and it works, you can start, if you can think of nothing else, you can ask them to start reading the story again that you have just presented to them, and try to find the corresponding keywords and phrases in their textbook. Because originally we bolded and took the phrases from the textbook. And if we read the story about the grandfather and the grandson and ask them to compare the two texts, this means that they will read the story and the textbook at least once. So already there will be half of your job as a teacher will be done, because the students will have read the story and the textbook. Play with the lesson, play with the story, play, dance, as we said at the very beginning, sing, draw, act it out, improvise, and we learn through games. That's what Dr. Luzanov and Suggestopedia taught me. We learn through games. And now we have the story of storytelling. That's over. Do you think you need a short break?
Yes, I need it. 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. Now it's 30 minutes past something, different something. And see you in 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. See you.
See you.
Apropo de Daria și Patricia, paralela.
Da.
Nu. Este lipitoare și Daria, dar Daria are frica de a nu greși datorită tatălui. Pentru că mi-a zis odată că a luat 8 și tata mi-a zis că merg degeaba la școală. Cred că e, da, nu.
Da, e mai mult un blocaj psihologic,
Exact.
așa. Dar Patricia e
Da,
foarte,
da,
mi se pare
e
profund,
deșteaptă.
așa, adică...
Da. Și matur. Știu, mi-au făcut o sinteză cu planetele și, în fine, primii oameni, experiență, așa, deci vreau să zic că au făcut un afiș din modat pe spate. Scurt și cuprinzător, adică
da.
nu
E
are o
foarte-
capacitate de sinteză fantastică. Dar eu am câștigat, ea intra patra niște chestii pentru că scrii foarte frumos, dacă vrei să spun.
Dar ea la cine au fost în
La
clasă?
Mariana.
Mă caută fanii.
Alo? Ce mult adică.
So I think we can, is it time to start?
Yep.
Yes. I hope everybody is back. I sent in the chat, I sent the link for this. It's not a life-changing article about priming, but it can give you a new, it can give you some new ideas. In general, I'm very interested nowadays in the way our brains function, and I think as teachers, it's really interesting to know what. And lately, what is important is that neuroscientists, they started speaking normal language, and I started understanding them. That's why I really enjoy this reading articles and books on neuroscience. And I think I can go on with sharing my link. And could you prepare a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil? Because maybe you will want to write something in a few minutes. No. Sorry. Didn't want to start sharing from the very first slide, sorry. Okay, sorry about this. So, storytelling, shall we try? Can you see my screen?
No.
No.
Okay, I'll try again.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's starting. Right.
Okay. Okay. Ready. So storytelling, shall we try? And to put you in the mood of the story, I would like to show you a very beautiful picture of a very beautiful woman, probably the most beautiful woman ever seen by God. And she's so beautiful that any god can fall in love with her, and even the god who went on a holiday to the beaches of Phoenicia. And what we also can see is a very, very beautiful bull, like snow white bull with snow white skin, who has beautiful, like his horns are like gems, and he has these beautiful flowers around his horns. And if you're in the mood of the story already, I will let you read the story, and it takes about 4 minutes to read the story. Just read it to get acquainted with it, and I'll start my stopwatch. Okay, and here we go. So this is the myth of Europe, seduction by Zeus, and we start reading now.
Ina?
Yes?
Can you do me a favor, please? can you write on the chat the link again? Because I had the cut off of energy, so I lost the chat. Write down your link, the link that you put before. I wanted to write it down.
I will in a second.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Всички реагират просто. Може би той и Сашка и Георги. Ермина пише в всяка помощ.
Okay, we have 30 seconds more. I think you're ready. I'm not going to test you whether you have memorized everything. Just that was for an experiment, for an example. And that's it. Okay, so now we have a very long text because it's not a real lesson. I haven't prepared the lesson plan. I don't know the objectives. I don't have the everything that we need. And by the way, the test, we will not do it, although I mentioned earlier some questions that we can ask about the holidays of Zeus and the number of his sons or the name of one of his sons, anything. So I decided to, one second, to cut some of the information which is too long, or at least to me it seemed too long. And I outlined some of the most important words or phrases that maybe need to remain in your memories longer than 7 minutes. And it's the same story, just I deleted some of the paragraphs. And again, this is the same story with a very, very bolded facts. And I made a list of these facts, and I suggest we do something with it. So on your left, you see the facts that I underline. Maybe they are not the facts that you're interested in, but still we have some facts to teach. And in the frame, I have this character, remember, who is your protagonist, what is his problem, outline. If you have time, you can read and write an outline. It always helps. Something out of the ordinary, something happening and something which is what's going on. Then we have the setting, the plot, the gift, which could be anything, but some message to your audience, and emotions. So may I ask you to write a story using only 3 of the ingredients: character, out of the ordinary, and gift. So if you take a piece of paper and write a story, which in that story should be included a character, who is your protagonist and what is his problem, something out of the ordinary, and some kind of a gift. And you can use, because I don't want to make it too difficult for you, I would just like you to try now the technique and choose 3 of the facts that you like. And on the top of the page that you have prepared already, write the 3 facts, rewrite them, the three of the facts that you chose from this list. And then you will have 5 minutes to write a story. And you will have 5 minutes to write a story, including, that story should include character, something out of the ordinary, and a gift. And you, if you want very much, if anyone asks and starts crying, may I read my story? You will read it. But otherwise, you don't need to read it. You can, of course, send it via email, and we will share these stories for you. But just if you can sit down now, and I'll start my timer again. Now you have 5 minutes to write a story. Choose 3 of the facts and these 3 ingredients in the story, and write a story. Do you have any questions? No? Ready? Okay. So I start my timer. You have 5 minutes.
презентация, която използва тази, която беше за началото на обучението. Значи добавих и тези принципите на GRT, които ги сложих в първия гайд, за да става ясно на какво става продукта. И до YouTube канала и до почтата, в смисъл тя може да вижда всички документи, всичко, което се качва там. Казах и имаш този достъп, имаш и до YouTube канала достъп, имаш всичко да споделиш, ако иска да бъде. И сме на разположение. Тя отговори, накрая завърших със свободата Сарчо.
We have less than 1 more minute. And the 5 minutes are over. So now, is there anyone who is really, really eager to read his or her story? Yes.
Hi, well, I don't know if my story fits, but well, I had fun reading writing it.
So that's the right kind of story. If you have fun writing it, that's the best story.
Yeah, I use more than 3 facts, but I hope it's okay. Okay, so Europa was a beautiful god, epitome of the feminine beauty. Zeus saw her on the seashore of Phoenicia and, enchanted by her beauty, decided to take her to greener fields. He transformed himself into an handsome bull, and when she saw him, she exclaimed, "What gem-like horns!" She ran toward him and jumped on his back. "Let's go, my lady. Let's go, my lady goat," said him. "Let's cross the sea and get to Crete." Don't know. Okay, the end.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
You were reading, that's why you didn't see everybody, but I was smiling.
Ah, okay. Amazing.
I think this is very, very important to make people happy.
Yes, when I teach to my students, I always try to make them laugh, because it makes the lesson more relaxed, feel them more comfortable. And also what you said, when they laugh at something, they then remember it.
Yes, yes, exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I read mine, Ina?
Of course.
Oh, but don't laugh, please.
I'll try.
It's really silly. Okay, let me open my file. Once upon a time, there was a father who had 3 sons and 1 girl. They lived on a faraway village in the north of Europa, and they lived a happy life. One day, the girl met Zeus, and they fell in love immediately. One of the sons was really jealous and wanted to hide his sister from Zeus. In order to keep him calm, Zeus gave him a gift, one of the 16 Jupiter's moons, where he could live and reign on all inhabitants that were there. So he was really happy and left his sister alone. That's it.
Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't laughing, I was admiring.
In 5 minutes, it's not really easy, you know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Someone is ringing the bell at my door. Sorry, I have to leave 5 minutes.
Anybody else?
I can read.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Zeus, the king of gods, was born on the Isle of Crete. He, Hades, and Poseidon were the 3 sons of Titan Kronos. Zeus fell in love with Europa, daughter of King Agenor of Phoenix. He saw her on the seashore of Phoenicia, where she was bathing in the sea with her snow-white body. He transformed himself in a bull with gem-like horns. Europa curiously approached him, but then he carried away from her father. From this union was born Minos, king of Crete, who created the Minoan civilization.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you know our emails. Please write all the stories. I haven't written a story myself. Maybe I should also give it a try. But usually when I do the teaching, I don't play. But now I will have some homework. So we're very open to share, all of us, our stories. Thank you very much for your contribution and for these attempts. Now I have a question again to write, but this time in the chat. Could you write 3 words? How do you feel now? And you have less than a minute. And the reason we have less than a minute is because now we will invite not a Greek god, but our wonderful Greek colleague, Vasilis. Thank you very much. I hope you will be all were able to share your 3 words. And now I will give the floor to Vasilis. And remember, there were storytelling in the classroom, part of this tool, famous paintings in the classroom, historical figures in the classroom, and role play in the classroom. And Vasilis will talk about the role play in the classroom. Thank you very much. Goodbye from me. And if you have any questions, we have some minutes at the end. We will be able, hopefully, to answer.
Okay, can I start, Ina? Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm speaking from Bulgaria. Even it was supposed to be in Greece, but another project kept me here in Bulgaria, and Bansko is beautiful. Okay, I would like to start with a question. I read that many of you feel curious. Can I have some answers? Why do you feel curious? Raise your hand if you want. And okay, bye, Joachim. Can I have all the people? I mean, we share your screen now.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat?
We share your screen. Still
okay,
we share
stop sharing. Okay.
Can someone tell me why do you feel curious? In 2 words, 3. I don't want analysis. Okay, you don't want. Not a problem. So, first of all, I have to say a huge thank you to Ina, because Ina has the biggest part of my job, writing the scenario of this story, because this is the scenario, what you read before in 5 minutes, the myth of Zeus, the seduction of Europe by Zeus, from Zeus. It was the scenario of this story. So, okay, now we have the scenario, and I think it's very good opportunity and very good chance to let the students to write their own story using the heroes and so on. But if you remember, when Chiara, if I am right, started to read her story, she put into her story something different from the storytelling. Did anyone understand what did she put? Okay, she put a dialogue, and this is the theater. The theater is, let's say, the vice versa of the storytelling, because in storytelling, we describe a story, we say a story, we use, of course, dialogue, but in the theater, we say the story through the dialogue. We always have action and dialogue, and this is the main difference between the storytelling and the play, let's say, the theater. In our story, in the seduction of Europe, as now we have the scenario, which is very, very good and very detailed. And once more, I would like to thank you, Ina, because she put the keywords, the facts. I mean, and now you know where you have to focus in the story. So we have to make a story making our students protagonists. We will not sit in our chair and to read them, to tell them the story. I know that most of us, I can say all of us, we very much love to hear our grandmother telling us a story, but I also remember myself immediately when the story was finished to go outside in the yard and to play the story with my friends or with my cousin, try to perform the heroes of the story. And this is the main, the best way to remember, because if you play a role, then you remember the story of the role and you are involved into the story. I think most of us, we know that tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, and involve me and I forgot, involve me and I learn. So why, can I screen, can I share my screen? I think yes. Okay, way to use the role play in our classroom. First of all, we can give another dimension to the lesson, another dimension to the character of the lesson. I mean, if we, first of all, we make our students protagonists, as I said before. The second one is that now we don't have only to listen the teacher or the storyteller, but we have people that they are replaying the story. So we have action, and all the people, all the students are active. And I think that this is one more tool to attract the students' attention, because they are waiting when will be the time that they will appear in the stage, if we can say that there is stage in the classroom. And they are not only listeners about the story, but they are also spectators, that they watch the action and they participate in the action. So in this way, we can success active participation, because all the people, when they have a role, they want to play it very well. Imagine yourself, think about yourself if you take a role, not only in the theater, but in your life, in your job, in the house, everywhere. We always want to have a good presence in this role. The second one is that we success the cooperation into the classroom, because the students have to cooperate between them and to organize the drama or this role-playing activity. And of course, it is a meaningful activity, because they have to think what are they doing now and how they can present the lesson to the other to the students, to the rest of the students in the classroom. Role play is more or less the same with storytelling, and we can give responsibilities to our students. For example, is no need for us to give the role, to share the roles by ourselves, but we can ask from the students, after they read the story, after they understand the story and the key points of the story, to tell them to share the roles between them. This is a very democratic process, and of course, we don't use the common way to give the protagonistic role to the best student in the classroom, but we let them, the classroom, to decide who will be what. And Wait a moment. Some small tips how we can use the role play into the classroom is that, of course, after they will share the roles, we have to explain well and clearly, I mean, to put the limits of each one role, and to empower the actors to get into their roles, making some exercise, how do they can success it. We don't comments during the action the rest of the students, and of course we always stay back. It's very helpful. I'm sorry, can you hear me? Because I have a message that my internet connection is not good. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. I can.
Okay. It's good for us to stay back and not to, it's very helpful for our actors not to feel our eyes on them, because this does not put them in the process that they are in examination. They have a performance and that's it. Okay, I will start. I will let the last one about the start evaluation positively. I will speak for this later. I would like to tell you that I don't have to say much more things, but what we have to do into the classroom is to let the students to decide for the roles and for the dialogues, always under our supervising. I mean, okay, we can ask them to make a dialogue, and then they can bring the dialogue to us to see if it is good or if we need to correct something. And then we have to let them to play the scenario, to play that this is small drama. In our case, about Zeus, seduction of Europe by Zeus, I would like to share with you a story that it happens again in Bulgaria. It was during a youth exchange, and it was during the carnival, and there was some young people that they had to make a story, and the Greek team decided to present the story of Europe's seduction. They shared the role by themselves. I didn't help them, and they had a very successful presentation because it was very clear what they have done, and there is the cooperation that we success into the classroom between among our students. Of course, I'm not a teacher, and I don't know very well the educational process, but any time that we are working with schools here in Nea Montania or in other projects, when we put the students to share the roles, it is very easy because their passion is to play and they don't care about the role. So this is a very fast process to share the roles, and then they got directly into scenario and to how to play the drama. And they give different dimensions. I mean, for example, here in our story, maybe Zeus can call some other students to participate in the story without having any role, but to making the planets, because if you read the story till the end, Europe was close to Jupiter, the other planet. So many times our students ask from their classmates to make the planets, and this is a good exercise for the astronomy. More or less, I don't have to say more things how we will use the role play. The role play is like to play theater. I think you know, and what we have to do is to let them to take initiatives and to present the story in the way that they want. And after this, we have to put some questions or to make an evaluation if it was useful for them. Always positive evaluation, as I said before. I don't have something else to tell you. This is what we usually do. I don't know if you have some questions. I am at your disposal.
Just like to tell you that role play is also very, very useful in schools to our students in order to develop the capacity of listening the others. Because this is one of the biggest problems we have in schools now, is that sometimes when they are in the lessons or in the class, they like to talk, but they don't know how to listen. And so when they are integrated in this type of role plays and work, they need to develop the capacity of learning, listening the others. This is one of the important things for us. And the other one is the teamwork. This is a good contribution for the developing the capacity of the teamwork in the group, because they don't think individual what they need to learn, but they think as a group, as a team. So these two things I think are very important and a very good contribution of the role play for it.
Also, I have to, if you allow me, I have to add here. Thank you, Victor. It was very useful what you said. There is also another game that we usually do it. Maybe you know the Oppress Theater.
Oppress Theater.
Yeah, maybe you know, but there is, let's say, in Oppress Theater, there is an alternative that the audience can make the story, can change the story. So many times when we play with the kids, we say, okay, this is the story, but now we will ask from the audience, from your roommates, to put some different facts in the story, and you have to obey to their facts. So they have immediately to rethink and to remake the story in another way. And this is very useful. It's not competitive, because they try always to respond on the demands of their classmates, and it's very, very useful and very interesting for them.
Yeah, and you should also think about giving this type of courses for our politicians, because they are not good listeners. They don't listen. They don't know how to listen to people. They just listen themselves. So I think they should train the role play.
One of the main rules or laws in the theater is that you cannot speak before your team player stops. If you speak on him or on her, then the play will be destroyed. No one can understand.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say that again. If I were, the Minister of Education, I would, introduce drama into classes, role-playing into classes, because, it brings a lot of benefits to children, to students.
But what exactly happened in ancient Greek? Drama was the main way to learn. Even mathematics, even geography, even whatever.
And comedy. And comedy.
And comedy, yes. Comedy. Yeah, drama is a big umbrella. Drama is a big umbrella. It also includes comedy.
Yeah, drama is the big umbrella, the ancient theater. But, okay, we know, around the world, we know only the tragic and the comedians in ancient Greek. But let me tell you that in most of the schools of this period, the teachers used the drama in order to teach mathematics or geography or whatever.
Okay. Comedy in ancient Greeks is very good.
No,
would be very good in our times as well.
Yes, too.
The tragedy had a religious meaning also. I know from what I studied at school. I have a suggestion. Can we combine the two aspects, the storytelling and the role playing? I mean, the students
of course.
could write a story by themselves and then put into drama. I think
Yes, of course.
I have to leave. I'm sorry. I will finish the lesson on the YouTube. I'm very happy to be with you today because it's the first time for me that I could stay so long. So I'm really, really happy. Thank you very much to everybody. See you next time. Okay, sorry.
See you. Thank
bye
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ina, do you want to say some words about how we can combine storytelling and theater, or?
I think we're all teachers and we know how to do it.
If I can say something about the method to work on our students' listening skills, because the main problem is that when we listen to something, we listen for to reply, and we don't focus on what our interlocutor is saying at that time. And this method, which is called the story circle method, initiated by Darla Deerdorf, focuses on listening for the listener, listening for understanding, and picking on from what the interlocutor is saying. So it's a very interesting method. If you can put it in Google and find where so it's quite long. It's quite a long PDF, but just concentrate on the method. So it's also based on stories. And it's interesting. It deals with intercultural communication, but it can apply to any, field.
Yes, actually, it is, how to say, it's obligatory sometimes to combine the storytelling, because we always have a narrator, the person who is speaking, and then we put the students into their roles and they start. But for listening and learning, I think is very important, because they have to listen, and this is the way to learn, not to hear.
Okay.
I don't have more things to do. Drama is only action, not theory. You get into the play and you play as you want.
Yeah, it's action.
And of course, now I think stage belongs to Elsa, right?
Okay, so do I have the, can I share the screen?
Yeah.
Am I the host? Yes, thank you. So I have two PowerPoints. Okay, all right. So the first one is famous paintings in teaching. I'll go through them very quickly so that, okay, so there are interesting stories about how teachers were treated in the past. So just stirring your curiosity, and you find lots of oddities. They were not allowed to marry and so on. Even if they wanted to have an ice cream, they had to ask for permission to do so. Okay. But I will start from this question. How would you react if your students didn't have a clue about masterpieces such as Mona Lisa, David the Scream, Starry Night, to name just a few? I leave it as it is because I'll come back to it at the end of this presentation. So, why do we use painting in teaching? It can serve as a warm-up, So this is on Europa's story. So I give students some of the paintings and ask them, eliciting from them the main topic. Or we can give them the title and one of the paintings and you know, ask them, you know, what they know about the topic, because, you know, students already know lots of things. So it's a good start to just to elicit from them what they know, and then go on with what we know. Okay, can serve as a model for evidence, you know, these ceramics. Students can figure out how people in the old times were dressed, about their hairstyle. And did you know that by simply examining some paintings, some Dutch paintings, scientists discovered that the climate had changed a lot throughout the years, because you know, some Dutch paintings showed people skating on the canals, which they can't now. And they reached the conclusion that the climate changed in time. So lots of things, lots of interesting things. And of course, a bridge among cultures. You know, this is Rembrandt, you know, the same myth, but by Rembrandt. This is by an Italian, and this is the Greek vase. Okay. How do we use painting? Facilitating writing, telling a story, stimulating reading, storytelling, and as inquiry. So this is very, very interesting. You are already familiar with this pyramid of inquiry. I have also found a table starting from observation. What do you see? Then reflection. What do you think about what you see? And then based on information, on input from teacher or from the internet, interpretation. So, you know, associating the scene, the topic of the lesson through the painting, you know, the lesson gets more layers and students learn more, and they are also curious. I mean, at first they might not be so interested in painting, but in time they you know, they get the taste, and we also develop their flair, and curiosity. We build on their curiosity. And now some best practices that we have noticed with our teachers. Yes, a painting challenge. You know, we may also be class teachers, form teachers, and be responsible for lots of students. So would be a good idea to focus on a painter per week, per month, and ask them to do some research, create a collage of their work and present it to their class. So that's what Emil did with a class of students, right, Emil? And you also, you know, created a sort of Italian schools of painting. Okay, another one. Can you see it? Familiarizing students with famous paintings. So Camelia is responsible for this. Camelia, are you here to help us? So what did you do?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so you described the painting without showing it to your students, yeah? So what did you do?
1 second.
Yes, sorry for taking you,
No, it's okay.
by surprise.
So I had them work in groups, and in fact, there was one person responsible, and they had some miming and some painting.
Okay.
And everything was done in English. So yeah, very simple.
So very simple. So it was the famous painting, and they had either to mime or describe, and their colleagues had to draw
Exactly.
What? Yes, and this
That's
is
what they
Mona Lisa.
understood from
Yeah,
the
they came up with Mona Lisa, different versions of Mona Lisa. But
And,
you
yeah.
know, I have found the Munch, the Norwegian painters, the Scream, very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, and these are
They
the
liked it too.
products. Very interesting.
Yeah, and I was also surprised that all the children knew. I mean, not all, but a lot of them knew all the paintings I worked on.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
interesting. Okay.
And they remembered the class and they enjoyed a lot painting. They said, well, it didn't happen until now to paint in an English class.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is work in progress. So we haven't finished it yet. So we have found a source of inspiration. You know, it's impersonation of the painting. So this is the famous Girl with a Pearl by Ver, and children impersonating it. You know, the Scream and a child impersonating the painting. Magritte, you know, Mona Lisa, this is very nice. And Ina, this is Frida Kahlo. And see?
And the other one is of Munch, Edvard Munch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, right. So it's very interesting, very interesting. So we also want to do it with our students and the little ones, why not? Okay, so lots of benefits, stimulating, motivating students, developing their creative and critical thinking skills, and above all, sensitizing them, you know, bringing out that humanity which our teaching relies on. Okay, so what other tips and techniques do you have for integrating painting into teaching? Can you think of other, or, you know, we'll think about it, and so we'll talk it on our last session. And now this question, it's in the present, no longer in the conditional. How do you react when students don't know who painted the Mona Lisa? Because there are students who don't know about it. I mean, they are okay, but you know, we know about it and we know what we would miss if we didn't know. But they don't realize that they miss so much. So that's why we have to, you know, find a place in our teaching for this masterpiece. Otherwise, they will be forgotten. Okay, I leave it to you to think.
Another benefit about painters and paint are knowledge.
Right, knowledge.
Yes. In Portugal, we have in our school, not all of school, a project based in this method. To young boys and girls in the kindergarten, the teachers choose a paint and they say what they think about. And this project is effective in kindergarten and so on, and to the secondary.
Yeah. So we'd like, you know, we'd like to do this with our kindergarten children to see how it works. So it's okay, Ivana.
Hi, thank you, Azam. Just a quick suggestion related to a question that you asked a little bit ago about the use of paintings. For instance, also this is something that we had during our discussions. there are, for instance, artists like Miro that have integrated geometrical shapes. So this is something that can be added, say, to a maths lesson.
Mm-hmm.
If you are teaching a history lesson, let's say, famous paintings or local artists from your old country that were actually making art during that period can also be used to add, first of all, additional content and knowledge, but also to have this visual stimuli that we talked about in the previous session, how having imagery that is added to the text can actually support the retention of information and really raise the interest of the students as well. So with this entire package of tools that we have here in Stories to Remember, the famous art, the role playing, and the story itself can be mixed and used together, either at the same time or as different steps in the teaching and learning process, so that we actually target the students from all these different angles where they're engaged, they're inspired, and they have the visual stimuli. So
yes, thank you. Yeah, by doing so, we show that the same thing can be seen from different perspectives, and everything is complex. And everything can be analyzed, examined from different perspectives, and so that we have you know, a nice view, or a complete as possible view about our society, about our life. Okay, one more thing before finishing. Wow, sorry. It's famous historical figures, right? Hope I'm doing the right thing. Yes, hopefully. Okay. All right. Impersonating historical personalities. So this is also dealing with role playing, because when, you know, students impersonate or the teacher impersonates personalities, everything is based on role play. Okay, so I won't insist on this, because we have done, I mean, we introduced this method the last training we had. And okay, so it's the story of Europe. And for instance, we can, you know, we can organize a debate on the power of the powerful. I mean, Vasilis drew our attention towards several strands by which this story can be analyzed and can be considered a lesson, also valid in our times. So why not having, you know, a debate on the power of the powerful, having two sides, Zeus on one hand and Europe and her family on the other hand. And I have this idea from one of our teachers, I think is Georgiana, who had a debate in her class. And I have some, you know, stages of the way a debate can be organized, which worked very well in her case. And the focus, of course, I mean, the focus, of course, of this debate is on debriefing. Okay, so I leave this with you if you are interested. And now I'll move on to the next slide. You know, the method is teacher impersonating the personality, the character, but this time the student impersonates the character. And one of our teachers, I think it's Alina. Alina had the idea of, you know, organizing, having a secret, a little secret with 3 of her students who impersonated some characters. and their colleagues had to guess who that character is. We filmed her lesson. If you want to, you know, listen to the way things developed. Yeah, can I? Yeah, okay, so let me see. So I'll stop sharing this. And where is it? Where is it? No, it's not here. So let me see. So I have to, yeah. So oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me see. I shouldn't forget to click on share sound, optimize the video before doing anything. Yes, and now sharing. Okay, can you see it? And here is Ina on the, yeah, on my right. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so let's see if it works, if it's working.
Some other questions. You had so many questions before. Why are you a hero? Hero.
That is because I was brave enough to write my own story of my life while I was sent to Auschwitz.
Okay, so that's a very important clue. Oh, come on, some more other questions.
Yes, why are you a hero?
Maybe you would like to repeat that, but with other words.
I am a hero to the modern world, and that is because I was brave enough to write my own story of my life while I was in Auschwitz. And after the 2 years in the annex, I was sent there, and it was a really long and awful time.
So, who do you think she is? Wow, okay. Your choice.
David? Well, I think you are Anne Frank. Yes, I am.
Okay, so she is Anne Frank. Do you know any?
Okay, so
that was Anne Frank.
Where am I? Okay, so coming back to the presentation. Yeah, and it was quite fun. Children, you know, had a lot of fun and they enjoyed their lesson a lot. They spoke English. It was an English lesson, but can be done, you know, with all subjects. For instance, physics or chemistry. You know, there are certain chapters, and behind each chapter there is an inventor, discoverer. And for physics, our teacher had a lesson on calorimetry, and the main character the teacher impersonated was Antoine Lavoisier. At the end of the class, she pretended to be Antoine Lavoisier, and everything went on like a dialogue between the teacher and her students. And what we liked about the lesson was that the teacher focused not only on the scientific information input, but also on the educational aspect, because Antoine Lavoisier was a very interesting man. During the French Revolution, he was also decapitated and beheaded, and so it's a very interesting story and shows how determination and ambition can lead you to great achievements. And that history, Leonardo da Vinci, a Renaissance man, also, you know, the teacher impersonated the character, but she did that at the beginning of the class. And then she used, I mean, she engaged her students in the flip the future method by having a sort of jigsaw, you know, puzzle. And with each group of students having a certain task, and then all contributing to the main lesson with the contribution of Leonardo da Vinci himself. Okay, so that's it. Any questions? Stop sharing. Okay. Any questions? Okay. No questions. You know that a teacher's favorite food is questions. You know, students' questions.
Just a question. I don't know if it is
yes,
connected.
please. I love questions.
No, it's just for organizing the things. Our teachers, they should prepare such a storytelling lesson and to send to you until when?
Right. As for us, the task so we have some before moving on to the deadline. Oh, sorry. So task, think about a moment when you could use the historical personalities method in your class, not only India. I mean, in the case of India, it's easy because the characters, I have already put the characters here: Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Tagore, who is an Indian poet, and also famous paintings, Taj Mahal. As for deadline, so that's a good question. Monday?
By Monday, Ms. Elsa?
Monday is okay. Monday is okay.
We can answer that question. It is, yes, by the end of Monday, so that on Tuesday we will be able to receive the translated texts from translated by each expert text into English, so that we can work on it on Tuesday and present again on Wednesday.
Wednesday deadline in English, yeah?
Tuesday deadline in English.
Okay.
Tuesday noon deadline in English.
Okay.
We need to work with it. Just Vitor, you worked with Antonio, and also Elsa and Alina and Svetla did a very impressive presentation of what was presented. So we need time to prepare. And, yes, this is one question. This is one topic that
can we
touch, or we can write a story using these principles of storytelling, or what I have sent you again about India.
But it's not compulsory India, or is it?
It should be about India, because we need to collect a database of different approaches to one and the same lesson. That's our main goal. So we're very curious to read the stories that you can create about India. I myself started writing a story. Maybe if you want, at some point, I will share it with you. So it's...
I think Patricia wanted to ask something.
Okay, Patricia.
I'm not. No.
No.
It's clear.
Yes.
Okay.
So the teachers can choose between historical figures, famous paintings, and
role playing and
role playing. Choose one of the teams and send it to us.
Okay. So we would be interested in activities you organize to introduce Indian masterpieces or, you know, personalities. Yeah, so activities.
Also, there was a question here in the chat, where shall we write it? Send it to your local coordinator for Antonio for Italy, Victor for Portugal, Romania is Elsa or Alina, and Bulgaria it's Zoe.
Yeah. And Vasilis should be.
Yes.